Our world is one world. What touches one affects us all. The seas that wash us round about, the clouds that cover us, the rains that fall. Our world is one world. The thoughts we think affect us all. The way we build our attitudes with love or hate we make a bridge or wall. Our world is one world. Its ways of wealth affect us all. The way we spend, the way we share, who are the rich or poor, who stand or fall. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe truth is larger than any one book or way. Religion and science go hand in hand. Integrity requires freedom of conscience. Diversity is something to celebrate. In the struggle for justice, we come alive. Our highest aspiration and calling is love. Our world is one world, just like a ship that bears us all, where fear and greed make many holes, but where our hearts can hear a different call. Whoever you are, whoever you love, whatever path you are on, you are welcome here. Once each month this year, we light our chalice in honor of people whose justice work here in Cleveland or beyond, in our own time or in generations past, reflects the best of our Unitarian Universalist values. Their lives remind us that love is not only something we feel, it is something we practice. Our Justice Shiro today is Joan Evelyn Southgate. Is Joan here this morning, by the way? Okay. Joan is a retired social worker with a lifelong Cleveland area activist whose courage has quite literally taken her places. In April 2002, at the age of 72, Miss Southgate began a 519-mile walk from southern Ohio to Canada, tracing routes taken by freedom seekers escaping enslavement along the Underground Railroad. Step by step, she lifted up the bravery of those who fled and the quiet moral daring of the conductor families who helped them. She walked to honor a chapter of history when people reached across color, creed, and class to insist that human dignity belongs to everyone. That walk became a wider act of witness. She later collaborated with Cleveland area writer Fran Stewart on In Their Path, a grandmother's 519-mile Underground Railroad walk, a book that preserves and proclaims the stories of those who risked everything for freedom. And in 2003, Miss Southgate took up another cause of remembrance and repair. She led a successful campaign to save the historic Cozad Bates House, the only pre-Civil War home still standing in University Circle. Through Miss Southgate, the organization Restore Cleveland Hope and a community of parents or partners, the house was preserved and established as an underground railroad education and resource center, keeping alive Cleveland's history as a center of anti-slavery activism and offering as a resource for the work still unfinished. For Joan Evelyn Southgate's vision, dedication, and courage, for the way she turned memory into movement, we light our chalice today, and there it is. Where's the music, Dave? Where's the magic music? Where is he? Oh, he's somewhere else. Okay, that's fine. Hey, folks, good morning. Welcome to West Shore. There he is right there. Hey, Dave, as you're walking, can you make some chalice music? There you go. West Shore, best place to be on a Sunday morning in Cleveland. We're so glad you're here. So much stuff going on. Check out your West Shore Weekly insert in your order of service. I do want to bring a couple of things to your attention. One is about our democracy, how it influences so much in our lives. Public education, voting rights, bodily autonomy, welcoming immigrants, and a livable planet. After the service, please stop by the Justice and Outreach Council table in the rotunda. We'll have a brief synopsis of the Meet the Moment feedback, along with an update on what West Shore is doing and simple next steps you can take with us. Come share what you care about and what kind of action fits you best. Thank you. A second event to consider is this month's Community Buzz. It's our quick, lively way to peek behind the scenes at West Shore and discover the ministries that make our church life hum, all organized through our 5 councils. This month, Community Buzz is hosted by our Worship, Music, and Arts Council, and it's a treat. Join us in the fireside room at 11:30 to meet guest artist David Noss, who will speak about the artwork currently on display. Welcome, David and Leslie. Where are you? Are you here with us? There he is, right there. Welcome. Welcome. Then our aesthetics committee will pull back the curtain on how an art exhibition actually happens here, how it's imagined, planned, designed, and installed. Come if you're simply curious, and especially if you are an artist who might want to exhibit your work someday here at West Shore. You'll also hear about the other quiet, beautiful ways the aesthetics team shapes our shared space, holiday decorating, caring for the chancel table, and coordinating Sunday flowers. If any of that makes your heart say, I could do that, this is a perfect, low-pressure way to explore joining them. By the way, what do you think about our chancel table this morning? Jerry Devis, love it. You got to come up here and check these guys out. It's hard not to want to pet them. They're so soft. We got cats and doggies, and there's I think a gerbil or something. And y'all remember this, right? Y'all recognize this? Snoopy, right? Snoopy's house. Now let me ask, if you are here for the first or second time and you don't mind people knowing, raise an arm. We're glad you guys are here. Welcome. Welcome to you. Welcome. So now we are going to pass the peace to each other, greet each other warmly. Children and youth grades K through 12 can leave for their classes now. The greeting time will end with the soundings of the bowl. Y'all ready? Let's do it. We come to this good morning, remembering the journey of freedom. The land we are on was once another's. We mourn the legacies of oppression. Healing is our way forward. Joy is the birthright of all.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
We represent the Worship, Music, and Arts Council. David Blazer and I co-chair it. And thank you. So some of the things that we provide are obviously this wonderful music that David, the choir, the Free Spirit Band, the new small ensemble group performs. We coordinate service together, Reverend Anthony, worship associates, the tech team, all to bring Sunday service to USA congregation and other things that we do throughout the church and the community. David.
So we are having the volunteer spotlight this month. I'm a huge fan of the TV series The Golden Girls. Laughter. There was an episode where a famous sculptor, Laszlo, was having an exhibition at the art museum where Blanche works. The three of them were admiring his works, along with very much admiring Laszlo, too. Laszlo decided he wanted to create a sculpture using one of the girls as a model. Excited as the three were, each of them didn't know that each one of them were secretly posing, thinking that they would choose each one of them. They finally realized the scheme, and now they wonder who he did really choose. The day of the unveiling arrives. The veil is lifted. Is it me? Is it me? It's got to be me. Who is it? They all asked. And Laszlo says, I went to my sketches of Blanche and saw the beauty and passion, and I said no. Then I went to my sketches of Dorothy and saw the strength and the wisdom, and I said no. Finally, I went to my sketches of Rose and saw the purity and innocence, and I said no. They all screamed, well, who is it? It's all three of you. It's a sculpture of beauty, passion, strength, wisdom, purity, and innocence. Now, much to their dismay, though, however, their admiration of Laszlo also fell short when they found out he was gay. Of course, Sophia had to have the last word. Of course he's gay. I had to look at you three all week. So I'm pleased to announce the volunteer spotlight sculpture for this. And Jerry, the envelope.
Sure. Well, we're doing a little Oscar, even though that would have been an Emmy Award, right? So we have an Oscar Award today. And there are many nominees. In fact, as David said, that in this case there were three, but in our case, close to 500 members of this church, so you're all nominated for all the wonderful things that each of you do. So I'd even right now give yourselves applause for the things that you do. I hear that applause, all right. But today, our very special, and the winner is, who gets the Oscar?
The choir.
The choir, all right.
And accepting the award.
So this is the certificate. It's going to hang in the chapel where they perform and rehearse every Wednesday evening. Certificate of appreciation. The certificate is awarded to the West Shore Choir for Worship, Music, and Arts Council in appreciation of your outstanding dedication and invaluable contributions to West Shore Unitarian Universalist Church. Sunday, February 22nd, 2026. Bravo!
And I'd like to thank the Academy and Allie, Drina, Diane, Kip, Kathy B., Marty, Margaret, Terry, Ron, Tamara, Brian, Angela, and Aaron, Heather, Kaylee, Anya, Carol, Kathy A., Bill, Jenny, Bob, Eric, Kyle, and Laura. Thank you.
The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Have you ever witnessed an animal grieving the death of someone they've bonded with, either another animal or a human? Barbara J. King, a professor of anthropology at the College of William and Mary, wrote a book entitled How Animals Grieve, and she details how emotional intelligence goes deeper than the human. It's something that many animals have in common. She writes, wild elephants sometimes stand silently at the bodies of dead companions and, later, stroke their sun-bleached bones as if embracing a memory. Dolphin mothers may refuse to part with the bodies of their babies who die, foregoing food and tirelessly keeping their child buoyant in the water day after day. Jane Goodall famously reported that a chimpanzee juvenile, even though mature enough to feed on his own, could not recover emotionally from the death of his mother and soon passed on himself. Barbara J. King's conclusion: humans and animals are separated by how we think, but united in how we feel. Besides grief, there are moments when our animal companions press us up against the question of what, if anything, outlasts death. Unitarian Universalist minister Gary Kowalski tells a story in Goodbye Friend, Healing Wisdom for Anyone Who Has Ever Lost a Pet, about a woman named Stephanie. Years earlier, one of her husband's most beloved dogs, Ginger, had died. Then, one day, her husband suffered a sudden heart attack. Stephanie called 911. The paramedics rushed into the bedroom to try to revive him. Stephanie waited in the kitchen down the hall with her son-in-law and a neighbor. Their living dogs were outside on the patio, locked out in plain sight. And yet, as the medics worked, one of them shouted 3 different times, "Can you remove the dog from the bedroom?" Stephanie yelled back that there was no dog in the bedroom. The dogs were outside. Later, she said it suddenly occurred to her the dog they were seeing was Ginger. Ginger had been gone for years. Stephanie didn't present this as proof of anything. She simply named the meaning she couldn't shake, that Ginger had come, somehow, to meet her husband, to accompany him as he crossed whatever threshold comes next. Here ends the reading.
And now our beautiful community ritual for all that is our lives. Please. I'll take these cards of gladness and grief into my meditations this week and pray for all that is our lives. To live in this world, wrote the poet Mary Oliver, we have to learn how to love what is mortal and, when the time comes, how to let it go. That's the curriculum. Not easy. Because the central challenge of being alive is not avoiding heartbreak. It is taking the risk to love anyway. Opening the heart with full knowledge that it can be broken. Then doing it again and again. Because without love, existence becomes a kind of careful survival that never quite becomes a life. For many of us, one of the places we learn that lesson most clearly, most purely, is with an animal companion. Not because pets are simple, but because the love is. There's a particular kind of richness these relationships bring. They don't usually demand explanation. They don't come with speeches. They come with routines. They come with presence. They come with the ordinary holiness of a life that meets you at the door or curls up beside you or puts its whole body against you when you're falling apart without needing you to say the right words. And then, when that life ends, we feel it as the loss of family, because that's exactly what it is. This sermon was purchased at 2024's service auction by Janet Neighboring Stager, and the timing is tender. Just one day before the auction, Janet and Jeff said goodbye to their beloved dog, Loki. Today, we hold Loki's life as a guiding thread, not because Loki is the only beloved pet among us, but because a single particular story helps us tell the larger truth. Loki's story helps us name what so many of us already know, but don't always feel permission to say out loud. That loving a pet is not a lesser love. That grieving a pet, it's not a lesser grief. And that the bond between human and animal can enlarge the soul in ways we are still learning to understand. Our culture lags behind in this understanding. It can treat pet love like a sentimental hobby. Sweet, but not serious. Some people, when faced with the intensity of losing a pet, feel embarrassed by it, or are made to feel embarrassed. They get the message that they are being dramatic, or childish, or too attached. A writer once described crying after a family pet died and feeling ashamed, as if the depth of mourning proved some deficiency, like they had loved too well. I just want to say this plainly. That idea is backwards. Yeah. If your grief is deep, it does not mean your love was misdirected. It means your love was real. It means a relationship existed, one with daily rituals, shared history, a living presence woven into your nervous system and your home. Because the world can be weirdly dismissive about it, some people end up grieving alone. Tears at work are explained away as allergies. They cry in private. They think they are supposed to get over it quickly. But you know what? The soul doesn't do deadlines. If someone's beloved animal companion has died and we rush them past it, we are not helping. We are abandoning them. We are leaving them alone with love that has nowhere else to go. So a part of what we're doing today is cultural repair. We say this grief counts. We say this love counts. We say you don't have to be embarrassed by the size of your heart. Let me tell you about Loki, known as the Lokinator, and also I am told Loki, Boki, Bonker, Boo. Am I getting that right? Janet and Jeff adopted him from a rescue near Columbus when he was a little over a year old. His previous people weren't able to give him the exercise and the attention he deserved. And here's the detail that already sounds like the beginning of a sacred story. They weren't even supposed to get him. Later they found out that the rescue keeps adoptions within a 60-mile radius. But somehow, Loki ended up with them anyway. Sometimes love enters our lives with that unmistakable feeling of fate. Something in you knows this one is mine to care for, and something in them seems to know it too. Loki wasn't just a dog who lived in their house. Loki became a relationship, an ongoing exchange of trust. And what do animals do when trust takes root? They bring their whole selves. Loki had a way of making himself part of things, getting comfortable in the world, placing himself at the center of the moment. He wasn't tentative about belonging. You see Janet behind? And that's one of the first gifts pets give us, a model of uncomplicated presence. Humans can be tense about taking up space, right? This is a time for amen. We ask, am I wanted? Am I too much? Am I bothering people? We bring 1,000 invisible negotiations into a room. But a beloved dog walks in and says with their whole body, here I am. I am part of this. And sometimes that alone is healing. So are the daily routines that emerge. Morning routine, evening routine, the little ritual of walks, feeding, brushing, tossing the ball, the familiar sound of nails on the floor, the dog who knows exactly when you're supposed to put your shoes on. Pets don't just fit in our lives. They shape our lives. They become the hidden architecture of a household. They also offer a kind of comfort that is hard to match. Not because humans can't comfort each other, we can and we should, but because animals don't require explanation first. They don't need the backstory. They don't ask for the correct emotional tone. They just come. Janet tells a story. She was in bed, really emotional, crying, talking to Jeff. Jeff brought Loki upstairs, and Loki hopped up and pressed his body against her legs, just smashed in there, close, insistent, present. He knew. If you have lived with a beloved pet, you know this he knew feeling. Sometimes an animal notices our distress sooner than we do. Sometimes they meet it without judgment. Sometimes they remind us in the simplest way that we are not alone. This is not weakness. This is a form of love that many people are starving for. If you've ever been misunderstood by the humans around you. How many of you have felt misunderstood by the humans around you? Okay, and the folks who don't have their arms up are lying. If you've ever felt misunderstood by the humans around you, your animal companions can become the one safe relationship, the one place where you can unmask. Even if you do have trusted human friends, there's still something about the quiet companionship of an animal that can steady a life. Beyond this, we can even speak of pets as love magnifiers. They don't just connect to us, they connect to each other. They become part of the fabric of a marriage, a family, a friend group. They create shared stories, shared laughter, shared responsibility, shared tenderness. Loki's life was full of those. This was a dog with a social calendar. Oh, yeah. Tuesday nights and Saturday mornings were group runs. Once a month, Wednesday evenings too. Doggy daycare on Wednesdays. Dog park visits on the other days. During the pandemic, Loki got so sad he couldn't see all his people that they had to get him a second dog. Think about what that means. It means Loki wasn't only a companion to Janet and Jeff. Loki was a node in a web of community. He wasn't just receiving love, he was generating it. He was the kind of being who made connection easier. Janet said Loki taught her how to make friends. His friendliness and open nature taught her how to be a friend. He helped her meet some of her favorite humans in her run group. He was even voted best mascot. That's not small. Sometimes we talk about community as if it's built only out of meetings and plans, but community is also built by simple repeated contact, by shared delight, by the simple ease of saying hello. A dog can be a bridge. A dog can be a social sacrament. A dog can also be the one with standards. If neighborhood dogs started barking incessantly, Loki would howl and bay at them until they shut up, and then he would stop. This was a dog with opinions. A dog who apparently believed in neighborhood peace. He also had that effect on other dogs. When Janet and Jeff got Asa, the rescue man warned them she might not get in the car. But at that moment, Loki jumped in the back seat and Asa promptly followed. Some beings carry asocial gravity. They make others feel safe enough to move. Loki also helped teach Asa how to be a dog. She was scared. She was shut down. And he brought out the best in her. He was respectful with their older husky too, never taking play too far. So Loki wasn't only receiving care, Loki was offering it. This then is another truth we need to hold. Animals are not just the objects of our affection. They are persons in relationship, beings with temperament, agency, emotional life, and the capacity to shape others. So, when they die, the heart breaks. To love what is mortal, says Mary Oliver. Loki's life, like every animal companion's life, was brief compared to ours. And that briefness doesn't cheapen the bond, it intensifies it. If anything, it clarifies what love is. Love is not measured by duration. Love is measured by presence, by mutual trust, by the way a being becomes woven into your days. Janet said, When they had to let Loki go, one friend told her she was crying like it was her own dog. Of course she was. Because Loki didn't only belong to Janet and Jeff. Loki belonged to a circle. Loki belonged to a community of runners, neighbors, doggy daycare friends, humans who had been smiled at and welcomed by Loki's open nature. We should not be surprised when grief spreads outward like that. That's what love does. Love makes networks. Love makes shared meaning. And grief is one of the ways the world confesses what matters. So if you are grieving a pet, or if you ever have, let me offer you a pastoral truth. Your grief is not an overreaction. It is the echo of devotion. And this is not just a human thing. Animals themselves grieve. Many animals demonstrate loyalty and attachment in ways that are not merely instinctive, but relational. Even if we cannot map the whole inner world of an animal, we can see enough to be humbled. We humans are not the only ones who love. We are not the only ones who mourn. We are not the only ones who carry longing. So what does it mean to be alive? It means, at least in part, to be moved by love and therefore moved by death. Our animal companions draw us into that reality, not as a philosophy, but as an experience. They train our hearts. They enlarge our capacity for tenderness. They make grief unavoidable. And therefore, they make love unavoidable too. I was just thinking about my 3 cats. And once in a while, they also stir the question, is death the end of a relationship? People have stories, some quiet, some strange, some luminous, of sensing a beloved animal's presence after they're gone. A dream that feels like a visit. A moment of comfort that arrives with a particular signature. A sudden warmth. A familiar sound. A feeling of companionship that seems to come from beyond the visible world. As a Unitarian Universalist minister, I'm not here to tell you what to believe about that. But I am here to say this. It is not irrational to wonder. It is not childish to wonder. Wonder is one of the most adult spiritual capacities we have. And sometimes our beloved animals, precisely because their love was so uncomplicated, become the doorway through which we can touch the sacred question, what survives? What remains? What is carried forward? Maybe what survives is not the pet as a ghost in the literal sense. Maybe what survives is the imprint of love on your soul. Maybe it's the way your heart has been trained. Maybe it's the way your life has been reshaped. Maybe it's the way you now know yourself capable of tenderness you didn't have before. But whatever our metaphysics, I think we can say with confidence, love is not wasted. Love leaves a mark. Love alters the world. Loki altered the world. He modeled how to stay active, boinging around when picked up from doggy daycare, loving his runs and the dog part. He modeled how to laugh at the absurd and not to take things so seriously. Janet tells me how when Loki was around, it was hard to stay sad. Do you see the tongue sticking out? Yeah. But above all, Janet says. He modeled how to love fiercely and unconditionally. He was a love magnifier. Love alters the world. So what do we owe one another when a beloved pet dies? We owe presence, not minimization. We owe the simple gift of speaking a pet's name. We owe room for stories, because stories are how love keeps moving. We owe permission for grief to take time. And we owe practical compassion too. Meals, check-ins, a card, a text that doesn't try to fix anything, but says, "I'm so sorry. Tell me about them." If you are supporting a child through pet loss, we owe even more tenderness, truth-telling without cruelty, room for tears without rushing, remembrance rituals that help the love have somewhere to go. Because grief is not a problem to solve. It is love looking for its next form. And if you've never had an animal companion, if this kind of bond isn't a part of your story, I want you to feel included here too. Because the sermon is not finally about dogs or cats or fish or rabbits. It is about what happens to a human being when they care for another life. It is about the capacity for devotion. It is about the way love trains us. It is about how tenderness enlarges us. And it is about what communities do. We don't always celebrate what is easy. We also make room for what is real. So let us end where we began, with the mortal love we are brave enough to give. Today we remember Loki, Lokinator, Loki, Boki, Bunker, Boo. Beloved companion, beloved mascot, beloved friend. We hold Janet and Jeff in our care. We bless Isa and any other animals who feel the absence in their own way. We bless the run routes and routines that now ache with memory. And we widen the circle. We remember all the beloved pets who have shared our lives, the ones with fur and feathers and scales, the ones who have slept beside us. I was about to run off the stage. The ones who have slept beside us, the ones who greeted us, the ones who made us laugh, the ones who got us through a hard year, the ones who taught us without language what trust feels like. May we never be shamed for loving them. May we never rush the grief that proves the bond. May we tell the stories until the love can breathe again. And when the time comes, when we have to let them go, may we do it with the dignity of honest sorrow and the courage of hearts that refuse to close. May our beloved pets bless us still by the tenderness they awakened, by the patience they taught, by the friendships they made possible, by the way they widened the doorway of the soul. And may we, changed by loving them, go back into the world a little more capable of love, more present, more patient, more brave. Amen. Let's now sing our closing hymn. Now I recall my childhood when the sun burst to my bedside with a day's surprise. Faith in the marvelous bloomed anew each dawn. Flowers bursting fresh within my heart each day. Then looking on the world in simple joy, on insects, birds, and beasts, and common weeds, the grass and clouds had fullest wealth of awe. My mother's voice gave meaning to the stars. Now when I turn to think of coming death, I find life's song in star songs of the night, in rise of curtains and new morning light, in life reborn in fresh surprise of love. To hold what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes to let it go, to let it go. These are the three things to learn, to really live in this world. Life reborn in fresh surprise of love. Let that surprise be yours this day, this week. But not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us until we meet again.